So you want to become a serious PvP player in World of Warcraft, or you are maybe already, but you need some tips on important add-ons. That's why I make this video here, and I want to show you 3 crucial ones that everybody should use, which should be used by even beginners. These 3 are crucial, and at the end I also want to show you some optional ones. Also already on my screen, you know. I will also tell a little bit about them and how to configure them a little bit. Let's start right with the video. The crucial ones that I want to start with is big debuffs. Big debuffs will show you increases the debuff size of crowd control effects on the Blizzard raid frames. What does it mean? That means that sometimes you see debuffs on the enemy chars or your friends or whatever, but they are so tiny from the Blizzard UI so that you can't even really see them. But in Arena it is very important that you see the important CDs, the CD stuns and so on, very big on your opponents. You know, when you see, okay, you play with a rogue, and your rogue blinds a player, you want to see the blind very openly, also with the timer. You know, the Blizzard frames do not show timers, plus they do not show that they are so tiny that you can barely see them. And the problem in World of Warcraft is that a lot of stuff is like poorly telegraphed, or let's say it is going so much on in a game that you can't see it by telegraphation. That's why we use big debuffs. So you see the big frame, the big blind frame above the head of the opponent. So this is important to also, of course, not kick in that moment, like kick him out of it or something, not to put the spell onto it. Plus you see an exact timer where you know, okay, I can start the next CC going on to after the blind perfectly. When you see, okay, he's on the last 0.5 seconds or something like that. That's why big debuffs is crucial in my opinion for every player. The thing with this is, like, this is stuff that Blizzard should normally think about and also implement into their own game. Then you would not have the need to use this add-on. But because they are not doing it, so you should use this. This is very crucial to see like the important stuff on your enemies especially. You can also see them on your partners. That's why this is so super important. So then let's go on with the next super important one. This is Omnibar. Here you can see it. I don't use that much add-ons. Omnibar is this here, where you can see enemy CDs. I see, okay, somebody in the near. I don't know why he does this in the open world like this. I mean, I can also put it off and say, oh, activate only in arenas or whatever, but it's no problem for me. This one tracks all CDs from, like, not your party members but your enemies. This is of course important because you see a Pali has used his go here, his big offensive, and I will see it instantly here when he does that, and I will also see when the next one is up again. There was a rogue who used somehow his shadow blades. Okay, also not bad. Also he used a sprint. This is of course normal. There is somebody who used his shadow dance now. Yeah, this is something you can see then in the arena. 3 minutes CD there. Wow. Okay, you see the Pali's go will be up now again, and he's more likely to make a go in the next seconds, you know, so you can prepare for it. Also, like the stealth here, the vanish from the rogue used. This is also of course important information, so you know, okay, he can't vanish for the next 1 minute and 40 seconds. Shami used his sprint, DK used his sprint, pretty normal everything. Yeah, the same Pali used his go again. But okay, how you can go into the settings for Omnibar? It is like this. You say just /Omnibar, and then you're in the settings here. And what you can do is, normally he's here on the settings. You go into spells. I mean the default when you have this firstly installed and when you are on default, he will only show you the kicks from enemies or from all classes. You know, that's a little bit of like, yeah, we need more information, let's say it like that. The thing is that that's not enough to only see the kicks. I mean, it's important, why not? But we want to see like bigger CDs. Then you click on the, you have here all the classes, you know. You have to also have a good class knowledge, of course, to configure this correctly for yourself. But at least you should track the biggest def CDs, offensive CDs and stuns. This is a list which I did for myself for like the DKs, what I want to see on the enemy DK. I have all ticked them here. And he will always track it. I want to see the anti-magic shell, his strangulate, his unholy assault. Maybe not that needed, but okay, it is okay though. This is 2-minute offensive cooldown. I want to see it. His apocalypse I want to see. I want to see his anti-magic zone. You can put here the biggest CDs and the stuns, kicks and so on into it, you know. Same game with the demon hunter. Here I ticked everything what I want to see from an enemy demon hunter or here from a druid. Of course you don't want to see all, you know, it should not be getting overwhelming. You just want to see everything that you need. This is something which you should configure for yourself, because it can get overwhelming when you use too much. You can't say, okay, I want to track everything now. That would be super counterproductive, because this rows, when you have in 2v2, this rows is like, let's say 2 bars, 2 long bars like this. You see that? But when you track everything, it will be 3 or 4 bars. I mean, you will track so much stuff, and stuff which is not that important, and that it's getting overwhelming. Like you have the information here, and you have to also get the information that you need fast. So I see here is a leap from a priest, here is another go from a pali, here's a little go from a monk, shadow dance also go from a rogue, also Worry had used his avatar, and so on, you know. You want to see it very fast like this. When you know, say, okay, I want to track every little bullshit, then this row's getting super big and you are getting overwhelmed super fast. So that's why you have to configure this all completely for yourself and be not too greedy, but don't use too much, man. That's my tip here. And for very beginners who are setting up this the first time, I would recommend to go step by step. Like you start only with the stuns and kicks first from the default to see how this works. Then you put the big defensives into it and then try to get used to them as extra information, and then you put the big offensives into it step by step to getting accustomed with this, because this is like extra information, but it can get overwhelming very fast. So you have to find your own pace there, you have to get accustomed to this, but then I swear to you, your playing will be 100 times better, because you know, okay, the warrior here started an avatar, I need to use CD on myself, a div CD, or my partner should use a CD on himself. And that's what's called like the cooldown trading in Arena, which is a very crucial part when you want to go get good at Arena. And then there's minor stuff, but I don't want to go into much detail in this video, because there's also something like optimal cooldown trading, but this is stuff for another video maybe. Like what that means is like when he plops avatar, I need to use a bigger def CD when he's fully onto me, you know, like I need to trade his avatar is pretty big trade, so I also have to do a pretty big trade to counter that. Shielding would not be enough, it's not a big of a CD for that. you know. PS would be okay, or Dome in that case. Okay, but let's go on. That is it with Omnibar. The next one is OmniCD. OmniCD is the same as Omnibar, but for your party members. This is 100% the same here, but only for your party members. You can go like also in the options /OmniCD, then we are in, and this looks a little bit more modern. That's cool. Also, there is a moment, you have to go to Arena, when Arena is interesting for you then, when you want to set it up for Arena. And the interesting thing is, Omnibar has no evoker right now, but on OmniCD you can track your party member evoker stuff, you know. And the thing is, the same game with Omnibar, like with Omnibar, you see here, it is even like put into these categories like interrupt, core control, disarm, defensives, offensives, counter CC, and so on. And you want to go here all through all classes again, and want to tick them what you want to see. I mean the frames, the icons, the CDs from your friends also. And in normal case, this is nearly 1-to-1 that I also have put into my Omnibar. Because the same what you want to track from your enemies, you want to track also from your party members. To know, okay, he can counter that now with that CD. I can hold my CD for the next go or whatever. You know what I mean? Here you have to go also through it, and also don't use everything, but use at least the most important CDs. You know, at least the big offensives and the big defensives, I would say, would be best. The counters we normally time when we play with voice or whatever, so then it's not that important that I know, okay, he can kick now the whole time, you know. I mean, he will did something that he has to use strategically by himself, the spell reflection from a warrior or whatever, he will tell it, or stuff like that, you know. That is minor stuff. You don't want to like show every, I don't know, 8-second rotation CD or something there, because then it again gets too overwhelming. So you have to find the right spot for yourself here and use it like that and configure it like that. Also you can track the trinkets here and the timers. This is also not bad. Also racial traits you can show up here. That's pretty much it. It's like I said, Omnibar and OmniCD is nearly the same from spells wise. One is for tracking enemies, one is for tracking your party members. Also, like in solo shuffle, this is especially funny, or normally not funny, because you see somebody dying. I mean, I see a lot of his CDs here on the side. It's attached to my heal bot here. You can't see it now, but it will plop up in Arena. When I go into it, I see their CDs like this, but attached to the character window. It's perfectly 2 rows, 1 or 2 rows, you know? So I see all their CDs when they use and when they are on timer and whatever. And in solo shuffle, it's like sometimes people just die, and you see he has used none of his defensive CD. Nothing. He didn't trinket it. He didn't use a big def. And you see like the full offensive goes from whole enemies, but he's not using anything of his defs, you know. And you can instantly see that then, and then you instantly know, okay, he's super bad and unexperienced, or he just dreamed in that moment or whatever, you know. So then there's also no room to blame somebody when you have this information, you know. And because a lot of people think still, or bad people think, that everything is on the healer when they are dying or whatever in a game, but that's not the truth. You have to see, like, when they are using two big offensive CDs on one guy, and you are the healer and you can only use so much. The problem is he also has to use a defensive against the big go, and you have to use a defensive against the other big go to counter it, you know, at least. But even if you use then everything, he still could die because he's not using anything. So this is very important stuff for cooldown trading, but like I said, this is stuff which goes into the gameplay and which I want to put into another video maybe. So let's go on when we have the three very important ones. So I will again tell you Omnibar, Omni CD, big debuffs. This is stuff that everybody should use in my opinion. And the optional stuff is now the cursive. The cursive is this little window here, which you can see here. You can say Alt, and then you can put it everywhere you want. I have them like in the near of my healbot, of course. And the good thing about the cursive is it's only for this builds. Like I have the purify here on right click. You can also do it like left click, middle click. Middle click is targeting. I normally don't need that. The purify, he will automatically purify. It shows like also the class color, you know, as frame, and you see your raid members, your party members also, yeah, as such a box. And what this does is it will glow up instantly when there is some kind of dispellable stuff onto him. Like it will get full white in that moment, or purple, or whatever. That depends on the stuff which he gets. Like is it the fear, is it the poison, or whatever. You will see that here. The more important stuff is that it makes a sound. You can configure it so that he says to you, okay, I want to get a sound on this kind of debuff, you know. So when a warlock fears, it makes a sound like dung, dung, you know, and then you instantly know, okay, your partner got feared right now, and you can instantly press to dispel him, you know. So you don't even need to see this. You will even hear this. This is an extra information channel you're hearing, you know, which good players also use. I mean, you can use it on more stuff. A lot of good people also doing this for more stuff. But for me as healer, it's okay when I know, okay, when to dispel correctly. And that changes the game a lot already. This little like minor extra information from your ears. And yeah, that's the cursive. I would recommend using this with every char that has some kind of dispel. Also, like a mage should use this in my opinion. Every feral, every druid in general should use this. Monks should use this. Palis should use this. If you even have not any dispels, you can just put this here to the side and just go by the hearing. Just say to yourself, if you are on worry, you can also configure it for yourself and say that there doesn't need to be a dispel. There is no dispel, of course, for worry, but you can at least hear, okay, there is something important now on my partner. This is something that you can also use as a little bit kind of like ear tracker, hearing tracker, audio tracker. This is the cursive. I have it up on all my healers, dispel classes at least. The next one is, of course, it's in the near. This is the healbot. The healbot is this window here. I mean, this is for healers, but I can also show you /healbot. We can go into the settings. You can set it up how you want to. You can, of course, make this very big. You can make this smaller, this frames. You can show moment. I cast now shield onto me. You can see everything that is coming with the shield. You can see here the atonement. You can here see the shield, how long it goes. This is especially good for druid to see all the hottings, you know, and to also know when to re-hot again and so on. And what you can configure here, I want to go very fast into the spells. Where are they? There. You have here like 5 buttons that you can bind onto it, plus 1, 2, 3 modifiers. This is all like modifiers, plus normal, so you can theoretically bind 20 spells on Healbot. I go with like 3 to 6 on my charts, maybe 9, depends. That's much it for me. I don't like modifiers using too much. But what I did on my priest is like flash heal on left click, for example. You see he's flash healing automatically. And I will see, of course, my party members here below me then when I play. And then I just go like click their window and he will automatically flash heal them. Middle click is the shield. Penance is the right click. The shift click plus left click is my pain suppression. PI, power infusion, is shift plus middle click. Shift plus right click is my leap of fate. So this one I will of course use onto my partners. You can then say, okay, control is rapture. This could also be fine. You can then say, okay, control left click is rapture, control whatever middle click is renew, and so on. You know, you get the idea. This is all like easy to set up here, where you say, okay, left normal, power word shield. You have to take the right spell name correctly here into it. You can also say button 4, button 5. I think this is the mouse wheel up and down, but I don't like to use that on Healbot, so I'm just not using it there. But I use the modifiers. Then you go modifier key, shift, pain suppression, power infusion, leap of fate, bam, control. You see it's empty. I can say left click rapture, boom. That would also be nice. Then I go like control rapture instantly. You see, it's super easy to set up. You have to take a little bit of time for the first time when you never use this, because you want to go with the frame that you like, the frame style. You can change also the icons. You see the icons, the positions. You can fade time start 15 seconds under. Debuffs, you can show the buffs, opacity, fight on expire, double not row. You can say double row so that he stacks them up. You can say on the bar, you can say off the bar, below the bar. I will say on the bar because I want to see it on the correct character always. You can say bottom right, bottom left. Bottom left I have the HP percent. Yeah, bottom left here, and I don't want to overlap it, so it's on the bottom right. You can also say top left or whatever. You can say you can make them. You can also say max icons. I don't want to show more than 12 or 8 or 2. So I would put this to max, this as max, because nobody has like so much stuff that he can do like 12 things onto one char. No healer has that, man. So it's okay when you go by 8. The scale, you can make them a little bit bigger, the icons. You see, I made them a little bit bigger now. Yeah, why not? Let's make them super big. Not super big, but okay, no, it's even better visible. Spacer, we don't want to space. I mean, it's super when they are like sticking together like this. He doesn't show timers on it. I'm not sure if you can put timers on this to see it correctly. You are just seeing it fading. You see, at first it is very visible and then it fades with the time. We can make them even bigger. So now we have them super big. You have to be careful, of course, that it doesn't get overwhelming, but you want to see them very nicely. And then of course timers, yeah, maybe would be a little bit overwhelming. It's okay when they are like fading like this. Like the fading is like a passive timer. You see? It's okay. And like I told you, this is stuff which you have to go into it for, especially in the first time. You have to like configure it for yourself like you like it. You don't of course need to use Healbot. If you're very good with the modifiers, with your key bindings for your raid members and this and that, and if you're comfortable with that, of course you can use it. But I used the heal bot for years now. I'm getting used to it, and especially on my druid, for example, it's super nice to also see the HOTS correctly ticking on everybody and just refill them with one click very fastly. So this is something which every healer, serious healer, should maybe try out for himself. For some it will work, for some it will not. It's also of course a habit thing, you know. You have to experiment this personally, individually, and look out for yourself if you want to use it on long term or not. So there is now one important add-on that I forgot maybe, and this is Asarina or Gladius. I will just throw it into the room. Asarina I use only for trinket tracker on my enemies. That's the only reason why I use Asarina. I don't use Gladius anymore. I think everybody knows this too. I just want to see the trinkets here on the blizzard frames, and that's it for me. There was something I forgot. Diminish. Okay, diminish. What this does is it shows your enemies DRs, or your also friendly people DRs. Moment, I can show you. Lightweight diminishing returns tracker for hostile and friendly units. That means that when your enemy also on full stun DR or something, you know, this is something which can make a difference in high rated playing. I mean, for a beginner it's maybe not that super important, but it can make games. Like, it can be super important. So I would like to recommend it to all to use also diminish, the add-on for the diminish returns. Diminish returns means like when you get the, let's say, a CC from a category 2 times back to back, you know that the timer is going down for every CC. Like the first cyclone a druid sets is like 6 seconds, then it gets 50% down to 3 seconds, and then again it gets 50% down to only 1.5 seconds. This will track these DRs. Like also when you play classes like Rogue Mage, where you have to set up very clean goals, then it is crucial to have this diminish tracker. If you do not track it by yourself, I mean, you could theoretically track everything in your brain by yourself, of course, but this is another help. It will show like above the health bars, like the frames, it will show the debuffs, dispels, this and that, debuffs and buffs and so on. Above that there is like a little bit smaller green frames with timers in it, and you will see these timers then. And this can be very important for when you set up like important CC goals. This is important for especially rogues, I would say. But I think every class, everybody can like profit out of this when you get used to it. To track, okay, before you set CCs or before you CC somebody for half of its duration or something, you know that you can wait for the next 5 seconds and then the DR goes away, and now you can CC him and get a full profit out of the stun CCD, you know? That's the thing behind it. You saw it maybe. Fucked up blind for a rogue or something. It's like super hard for the game. It can decide the game. Like when you're in the last stage of the battle or something, and then there is a DR on blind, and the rogue decides to blind in that moment, and the blind is only like 2 or 3 or 4 seconds, or 3.5 seconds, you know, then you know he has wasted this blind. Otherwise, when he had this DR tracker, he knows, okay, when I wait for 5 seconds, then the DR will go away, and then I can blind fully for the 7 seconds. You know, That's the idea behind it, and that is also pretty crucial then, of course, in higher games, higher rated games. I mean, the higher you get, the more important such nuances will get in the games. That's why everybody should use this stuff. I mean, it is like little bars which are floating over the heads. They're green bars, maybe you saw them like on other streamers who are playing, or on YouTube videos or something, where you do not know, hey, what is this extra green bar there with the blind icon or kidney icon or whatever. That are the R trackers, and they are lasting every time for 30 seconds. So when you have stacked up 3 DRs, you know, it will show that, and you will know, okay, he's immune the next I don't know, 25 seconds for this type of CC. And then you have to wait this 25 seconds to go away, and then you can start another CC chain there. So that's why DR trackers are important, especially, like I told you, for rogue mage as comp or rogue in general and so on, because you don't want to waste like big stuns for nothing, for literally nothing, you know, for half of the value. That is like 100% value loss there in a big CC like blind or big kidney go or something. So that's why diminish is super important. Handy notes, okay, this is something else, it's for PvE. Save queue, it's okay, you can use it. It shows a perfect timer for your arena queues or PG queues or whatever. Then you will get a timer that this window will expire in, I don't know, 20 seconds or so. It shows it like that. Plus you get the message in the chat, so like a kind of warning thing, so that you also do not miss your queues. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, if it helped you out, please consider subscribing to my channel, and also maybe follow me on Twitch. Watch me playing and also explaining stuff in the game when I play, because there are some newer people also coming in and seeing my UI and telling me that it's super clean and this and that. Yeah, I promised one of them like I make a YouTube video for this, and I hope he also sees it and takes the information from here. If you like the video, like I told you, also consider commenting down below what you liked about it, what you maybe didn't like, what you also maybe want to see in the future. Like you can see, I started this YouTube channel pretty new. Yeah, just want to help out with videos like this in the future, and when you tell me stuff, give me feedback and so on, I can also improve on that. That would be very nice from you. But so far, that's it from me. I hope we will see or meet in my streams sometimes. Have a nice day.